What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So what I want to do right now is just give you a little bit of an update as to what went on earlier on today. President Biden did have a speech that he talked and said a bunch of different things, and I want to address what he actually said, go over some of the main points because I think they're extremely important for you to know, and you will probably see these on the news later on today. Maybe you'll pick up a newspaper and you'll read them in there, but I'll give you all the updates right now. So here's what we heard from President Biden. First, he said he will double the amount of pharmacy vaccination sites, and he's going to do this fairly quickly. Currently, there's right around 17,000 pharmacies that are offering vaccinations. However, he wants to double this, and he wants to get it to a little bit over 40,000. So that's a decent amount, but the reason why he's doing this, first off, he says he wants to ensure that at least 90% of Americans can receive a shot within 5 miles of their home. In order to do that, he can't have large vaccination sites. He needs to have a bunch of sites that are smaller and in very rural areas, little pharmacies here and there, and that would actually achieve that goal. He also said he wants to promise every single adult a vaccine by April 19th. So that is like 3 weeks away. That's coming up, but he says that is the goal. He wants to make sure every single adult can get the vaccine far before this summer. He wants things back to normal by this summer. And President Biden is also calling for another mask mandate. He says, and I quote, "I'm reiterating my call for every governor, mayor, and local leader to maintain and reinstate the mask mandate. Please, this is not politics. Reinstate the mandate if you let down." Now, I know a lot of people are upset that President Biden keeps on reiterating, say, hey, you have to wear a mask, you have to do this, you have to do that. However, and I find a mask is, after a whole year, it's tiring to wear a mask and remember to keep pulling out your pocket to walk into a store. One thing I can say, this is just for me personally, I don't mind wearing a mask simply because I haven't been as sick as I have been in the past. And also, I can go in and out of store very quickly without having to talk with very many people. In a lot of cases, I can walk into a store and I can even see people I know, and I don't have to, not like I don't want to, but I don't have to go and have a full-on conversation with them when I'm in a hurry, simply because they can't really tell who I am behind a mask. So for me personally, I don't mind it, but I know a lot of people do, and honestly, everyone's open to their opinion. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, and I am perfectly fine with people that don't wear a mask, but I'm perfectly fine with people that do. So one thing we do know right now is President Biden is working his way towards this Wednesday date where he will be in Pittsburgh, and he's going to unveil his Build Back Better plan, or according to the White House press secretary Jen Psaki, she says he's going to unveil half of it. He will unveil just a small portion of the bill. And what we know, according to the Washington Post, the initial infrastructure proposal by the White House was for $3 trillion in spending and $1 trillion in tax hikes. That would have created a deficit of about $2 trillion. Well, this week, so today, things changed. According to the Washington Post, and according to reporter Jeff Stein, who I absolutely love, he has a lot of great articles, a lot of great insights. He says that this week, the White House is expected to push for a $4 trillion spending package and as much as $3.5 trillion in tax hikes. Now, what you need to understand about all of this, first, it was $3 trillion in spending, $1 trillion in tax hikes, which would create a $2 trillion deficit. Now it's $4 trillion in spending, $3.5 trillion in tax hikes, which is only bringing in but it's bringing in about a $500 billion deficit. So it's much better. And according to many reports, this has bipartisan support because of the price tag. The issue is the tax hikes. That's the big issue, and that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that yes, the principles and the numbers make sense. The problem is you're not going to get 10 Republicans to vote for, in support of, a major tax hike of $3.5 trillion. It's almost impossible. I don't see any way this happens, but according to reports, there's bipartisan support. I'm just curious who he is talking to and who is giving this bipartisanship. Is it governors? Is it mayors? Because or is it the public? Because that is exactly what the Biden administration said in the last $1.9 trillion stimulus package, was that yes, they achieved bipartisanship because there was bipartisanship because Republican voters did like that proposal. They did like the provisions and the legislation within it. So that's what made it bipartisan. But right now, we don't know. We will have to wait until this bill is actually rolled out, and chances are we will know more possibly Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Now, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, she did say that this bill on Wednesday is going to include physical infrastructure money. This is going to include roads, bridges, things like that. We also know it's going to include clean energy and research and development investments. There's going to be domestic manufacturing. There's going to be a push for that, a big push. We know that because that is also something that Republicans want as well, to try to bring back manufacturing here to the United States as opposed to keep sending it away over to China. We know there's going to be money for schools. There's going to be, for school facilities, for childcare and things like that. There's going to be a big push for that as well. We know both Republicans and Democrats want to get kids back into school safely. Safely is the key word. In order to do that, there needs to be money for childcare. There has to be money for school facilities as well. They need to fix their filtration systems, and they obviously need to expand a lot of these classrooms, because even when it was 6 feet of social distancing, it was almost impossible, or technically impossible. At 3 feet, it makes it very difficult. It's still doable for some classrooms, but if the classroom size is too large and the classroom is too small, it doesn't make sense, and so they'll have to expand classroom sizes as well. We also know there's going to be included, what else is going to be included is for home-based child care for disabled and elderly people. This is something that we don't really have much of right now, so this will be really good. And White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki stated in the second part of this bill, or the second part of this plan, what President Biden will unveil in the coming weeks. And again, this isn't going to happen this Wednesday. This is most likely going to be kind of put into place after more lawmakers add in their proposals. And this is something that we're going to see. But what this is going to include are things like what we have here, according to Jeff Stein, is significant child care money. There's going to be paid family and medical leave, and this is a big one that Democrats have been pushing. We know there's going to be an expansion of health care and the Affordable Care Act. We also know there's going to be an extension of the larger child tax benefit in this kind of stimulus package. That is that $3,600 child tax credit and that $3,000 child tax credit that we are still trying to figure out. And right now the IRS says it's going to be a challenge. What I can tell you is that this is not it. We know progressives are pushing for multiple things. One of the things that we are seeing, and one of the things that is getting a lot of pushback, is the $15 minimum wage. Bernie Sanders still wants this included. But if this can't be included, how are they going to fix this? Well, Democrats decided we are going to increase taxes for the wealthy. The wealth tax is most likely not going to pass, and that is what Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are both pushing, more so Elizabeth Warren. But Bernie Sanders wants to see, some of these larger corporations pay a tax penalty simply for not paying their workers minimum wage, or a higher actual livable minimum wage. And the issue there is he's not getting the support, not from Republicans, but from some Democrats either. And there are more centrist Democrats that are opposed to a tax hike of that nature, because that would be very big and it could be detrimental to workers and the companies here within the United States. So what we do know is there's a lot of stuff going back and forth. We don't know exactly what is going to be in this bill. A lot of people are just guessing. There are some aides that are coming out and saying what will most likely be included, and some of the stuff we know, it's just basic stuff that is always included in an infrastructure bill. But there's going to be a lot of stuff in part 2 of this bill that is the real question mark. That is where we could see Medicare for all. Bernie Sanders wants to cut the Medicare age from 65 down to 55, possibly even 60. We know that. We know President Biden would like to include a first-time homebuyers tax credit. They want to see additional tax credits for electric vehicles, things that are kind of building for the future. We also know there's a $2,000 per month stimulus check in the works. They're still talking about that. That is the ABC Act. And this is something that progressives are pushing. And progressives are really pushing the Medicare for All, which has over 50% of Democrats within the House. They do support that. And there's also quite a bit that are in the Senate that support that as well. So we will see what happens there. And in other news, here's a big story that came out earlier on today, and this is something that I addressed on Saturday as well, was that there is a thing going on in New York State. It's called the Excelsior Pass. It's a thing that you can get on your phone. You can download this app on your phone, and it will tell you, or anybody that scans it, a business, a sporting venue, if someone scans it, it will tell them that you've been vaccinated, when you've been infected, or if you haven't, or last time you were, or even the last time you were tested. It will tell them everything. Well, what we know right now is the White House is working on something called a vaccine passport. Well, this is not something that is just being done here in the United States. The European Union is working on this as well. But earlier on today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, he said that he will be taking executive action very soon against this vaccine passport, that he does not believe that this is right and it violates people's privacy. So this is something that I addressed this morning, that there's going to be a lot of pushback from people, but I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. But Ron DeSantis said yes, he is going to file an executive action in order to prevent this. So we will see what happens, but right now the Biden administration is working on some type of vaccine passport to show that you have been vaccinated. And that is something that they say it is within the rights of some of these companies. And if a company doesn't want to let you into their business, if they don't want to sell you a product, don't want to serve you, they have the right to do so simply because you haven't been vaccinated. So just want to put that out there. That is something that is currently being discussed. And during a pandemic, they're saying that the laws are changing. The laws are changing simply because of this pandemic. So we will see what happens there. Good news, though, has nothing to do with the vaccine passport, but it does have something to do with passage, is the Suez Canal is finally open. The Ever Given has been refloated and is now on its way. So traffic has begun to flow once again. So that is the good news. Some say that we are going to see some type of inflation because of this issue, which happened halfway across the world, which is crazy that a boat stuck in a canal halfway across the world is going to impact us financially. But according to many reports, it already has hit the stock market, so we will see what happens. But right now, all I can tell you is I will keep you updated on everything else that we hear. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.